Welcome to the Stargate Finance Community Call, where we discuss proposals and ideas that help shape and govern the Stargate protocol. Okay, updates for this week here. Curious if anybody had a chance to try out the native gas delivery. Super stoked about this feature, being able to drop yourself native gas on the destination chain. I, for one, just used it yesterday when I needed a little more gas over on Optimism to do claiming. But I hope everybody claimed their Optimism airdrop as well, if they were eligible. But yeah, curious if anybody's had a chance to try that out and thoughts or comments around it. But it's something that I'm like super stoked about because you can go any network with and always be able to get native gas and not have to worry about like, because even if it's like the ETH stuff or as you go to any other networks, like it's all just converts and works well. But yeah, I don't know if anybody's got feedback on that. Would love to hear about it. Come on up or bring it into the text questions. But I've also posted a video on YouTube with just like doing a whole speed run. So being able to go through like all the networks with just having like native gas on mainnet and just shooting $100 USDC all the way around the other 6 networks. But yeah, so if you haven't had a chance, check that out, and yeah, give that a test out and give us some feedback on it. Love to hear if there's anything we need to improve or how that feature works. But yeah, hopefully you had a chance. Yeah, then we do have the circulating supply is also in the works. That's getting close now. I think, Max, that's looking good, correct?
Yeah, looking good. The tech work on our side is done. Just thinking with the CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko teams to get it integrated on their sites. All good.
Perfect. Okay, yeah. So hopefully those teams can, get that pushed out for us. I know it's something everyone's wanted for a while, so just want to let everybody know that is happening and that will be updated soon. Just of course, going across 7 networks, it's requires a little bit. So that, and then Maki, are you able to kind of walk us through the bribes for this week? Just kind of through Vodium and Curve and some of the CRV that's been generated and how that's all looking.
Yep. So this week we bribed like 100,000 less than the previous cycle. We were able to make over 100,000 plus in CRV and Convex, which were stake. We haven't been voting yet in the gauge. We will be doing this before the end of the week, and that's been going very well. Very impressed with the result. So we will be probably able to tone down on any single bribe in the next 1 or 2 cycle.
Yeah, wicked. Yeah, so that's the whole point there is just being able to, as we get more of those emissions, less bribing is required so that we actually have a say in the gauge to vote for our own pool.
And so far, just as a total per se as a whole, we've been only spending the total aggregated of almost under $1 million. So it's not nowhere near like the 5 that was proposed in the proposal so far.
All right. Yeah, and it seems to have been effective, obviously, with revenue that's been generated here as far as CRV and whatnot. Sorry, what did you say was the numbers on how much had been generated so far? Or do you know offhand?
It was over 150, I believe.
Yeah,
150,000.
Nice. Wow, perfect. Yeah, so it seems to be paying out already. But yeah, I was looking yesterday on whatever that site is just past when you're on Vodium. And it was looking like the bribes were like paying out $1. Let's see here. It was $1.49 is what they were kind of suggesting, but yeah, $1.39 today is what the emissions per $1 spent on bribes. So it does seem, bribing seems to be positive. So that's pretty sweet. I'm glad that that's working out. But I don't know if anybody's got questions, comments, concerns around bribes or anything further here. But yeah, Ray J, thanks for the poop claim for the proof of attendance chat. But yeah, anyways, yeah, as far as yeah, the next things here, ETH pools are very close to being deployed. Some other stuff has been like set up in place so that moving forward, any other ERCs that need to be deployed, yeah, with like the infrastructure that's in place now, it's going to be super easy to deploy. Yeah, any new assets that get added in. So yeah, it's nice that this structure has been set up and be able to like just deploy new assets relatively quickly after this. So yeah, I think we're looking, and then once those ETH assets are deployed too, we'll have pools and emissions set up for those and the incentives around that. And yeah, I don't know, should be as soon as hoping early next week is kind of what we're targeting to have this all dialed in. So yeah, we'll keep everybody updated on that. But yeah, just like the way that this has been set up, we'll be able to dial this in so it's yeah, it's ready to deploy any ERC20 token afterwards. So it should be a cool little feature to have on that. Okay. Next up, yeah, the USDD pool or proposal has passed. So those pools will be set up shortly. Yeah, shortly after ETH pools. I think those should be good to go. Yeah, and again, just so like I know there was some concern around that on the forums and whatnot, but this is those pools are autonomous to themselves, so there's no risk or anything taking on. I know there's some people that were concerned about UST risk, but yeah, that would be it is autonomous to itself. So those risks are mitigated, and yeah, if there's another place that wants to do another token similar to that, we're going to be set up with what we just described here as being able to deploy those relatively quickly. Yeah, and then as far as the OP token airdrop update for Stargate, yeah, Optimism had just requested some changes around that, so that has been updated to be 700,000 OP tokens going to liquidity mining program, and then so that program for 6 months, and then same thing for 6 months for partners and integrations for 300,000 OP tokens will be issued over that 6 months as well. So yeah, same kind of as it was before with the previous proposal. It's just we had to remove the bonding auction and just allocated the funds across the two other things that we had voted on. So yeah, that I've just recently put up another proposal outlining the exact what this is again now, and we'll put that up to Snapshot to be voted on so that passes our governance process, or so that we do get those OP tokens and are able to distribute them to the to community here. So yeah, any comments on that? All right, no problem there. But okay, with yeah, as we were kind of talking about the ETH pools and emissions and whatnot here. Yeah, Max, if you can here, let's we'll go through some of these proposals that have passed here. So like the ongoing emissions model and the pathway weighting, and then we can kind of talk into the initial ETH pool implementation and all that. So if you can, yeah, just kind of take it away here. Yeah.
At the end of the day, like the ETH pools, USDT pools, this all drives towards that, North Star metric for Stargate and driving transaction volume. So I'm really excited to see how much volume is going to come in on the ETH pools. It's just such a strong use case, right, for people moving from the L2s back to ETH. I think it's going to be in pretty high demand. So, but these other proposals, the ongoing emissions updates, some of the pathway weights being updated. At the end of the day, like the goals of these things are to make sure that Stargate is balanced so that it is usable, and applications and users that are using Stargate are getting the best pricing on their transfers. So the updating emissions and the pathway weights, that should go into effect today. And then the incentives on the ETH pools will go live once the ETH pools are live as well. And I think it was shooting for Monday next week. But yeah, essentially with the incentives on the ETH pools, we're shooting for about 50 million in liquidity. You know, there's a little bit of forecasting estimation in this work in terms of how much the market values the emissions related to ETH pools. I think it's going to be somewhat different from stable coins, but again, I think we're shooting for that 50 million in liquidity ETH, and yeah, so really excited about seeing the ongoing emissions plan, the pathway weights getting implemented. Right, I think this will bring more balance to the Stargate system, making transfers more cost efficient, and then yeah, again, like the ETH pools, the USDT pools, I think this is going to go a long way in terms of driving transaction volumes, and then of course protocol fees earned over time. So all good stuff.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. Yeah, and then with the ETH pools, like you were saying there, for early next week, and then of course there'll be I think you've outlined as well, like what the how the weighting paths will work and where the emissions will be directed to as well to help.
Yep. Yeah, the pathway weights, just to add a little bit of color on that, it's just to make sure that the most in-demand pathways for Stargate are getting sufficient liquidity, right? So, for example, if you look at the data, you'll see that ETH USDC to AVAX USDC is a very high in-demand pathway. We want to make sure that pathway is getting enough liquidity to support the transfer demand. So it's really just about making sure that, and versus other pathways that are not being used as frequently, those will have lower weights. So again, this all ties back into making sure there's enough balance within the bridging system so that people are getting the best price on their transfers.
Yeah, cool. And then yeah, as far as like Aki was saying here, no audits necessary here for the ETH pools, but yeah, good that we're getting close here with that. And then as far as the weights and everything, has anybody got questions around that stuff? I guess at the end of the day, this is all just about optimizing and making this the most efficient way possible to for Stargate to run. How I don't know, do you have a prediction on like how often you're going to need to change those pathways or reevaluate at least, or see what's up? Obviously we want to just
so the
able to...
proposal outlines that I think it's going to be on a monthly basis. In the first of every month, the pathway weights and the emissions will get updated.
Perfect. Okay, I do see a hand up here, but come on up, Ali, if you're looking to chat on that. Has anybody else got questions, comments, concerns on any of the weight stuff? All right. No, that's good then. That's kind of the main stuff here to cover this week. But yeah, with I just wanted to also touch on we're doing these every 2 weeks now, moving forward. 1 week was we're covering a lot of stuff here constantly. So just if it's I think 2 weeks is a better cadence around this, and we'll keep everyone posted on the 2 weeks. And I think keeping the same time. I don't know if anybody has comments here. I think in the last call everyone was happy with this outline. Or this timing anyways. If anybody's got any comments on it, please let us know. But Is anybody else?
Oh. From my end, I just want to bring up there's a couple things I think broadly still needs to get done. I think overall the pool, Max's proposal to balance of the pools with the new emissions is going to be super helpful. I think we're going to likely be trying to redo the equilibrium fee and the reward fee so that they're not so the reward fee is not strictly linear, and that the equilibrium fee maybe kicks in slightly sooner, such that it helps. What you don't want is to hit a state in the pool balance where it's too expensive for anybody to trade in one direction, but there's not enough reward accrued. So like the area under the curve by then for, for somebody, a party to step in and sort of go the entire other way. So I think that is something that gets done. I think we'll try to kind of poke some market makers and ask them to rebalance the pool. There is enough reward fee in there to be kind of slightly profitable now, but probably not enough for them to really pay attention to. I think it's about 7 to 9 bips on a 6 bip fee. So, you're taking like 3 bips, 1 to 3 bips profit in order to sort of take inventory on another chain. So, that's close. I think around 5 bips, most people would definitely do it, like 5 to 7 bips. So yeah, I think adjusting those will definitely help. And then I think we have to get, so we're going to get ETH pools added, should be a bunch more volume. Going to get USDD pools added, should be a bunch more volume. Going to fix the fees so the balancing is a little bit better in general. And then we have to get the new library in terms of fee library so that the partners get their fees so that everyone can start integrating the widget and we can start getting all these big partners onboarded. So I think like the next, by the next community call 2 weeks from now, I would be reasonably unhappy if like most of that was not fully done. So all of it is just, engineering constrained, but I think there's a bunch of stuff sort of happening now that hopefully should start snowballing into like everything, both the pools being more balanced and more volume being driven. So I think that's kind of broad goal. I just wanted to touch on, I know we touched on each of these individually, but like as high level sort of vision, I think it's important. Like we've had some really good governance proposals passed that make the protocol meaningfully better. And I think it's okay, get all of these things actually implemented and out into production, get the new pools up, get them more volume, and get the partners going. And like that's where we start seeing real volume come. And then, the math behind what that looks like, I'm sure people will do it. But right now, it's been about $1 billion a month in volume, roughly. Somewhere loosely around there, maybe like 850 million. So I think on each of those components, it's going to start being like reasonably meaningful, especially a volume, can 2 to 3x from here. Those numbers will start getting pretty attractive for both the VE side of things and some of the other stuff. So, yeah, lots to do, but let's just do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Thanks for the unpacking all of that. So yeah, if if anybody's got questions, comments around any of that stuff, let us know. Either here or afterwards. Don't feel free to reach out. Just DMs or whatever as well. I'm happy to take anything from there. And I do see like, Passive Crypto was talking about like balancer pools as well. I'm not super familiar with those, but I don't know, Maki, if you've got any color or light there on what that could be or what that could look like.
Can you just repeat on what?
Just the balancer pool. I was seeing some comments around balancer pools with the 80-20.
Oh yeah, we have a 50-50 right now. We're like the main LP, so the IL is not really like a concern per se. We're just gonna try to do like a small bribe, just see how it behaves potentially on the next round. It's something we didn't really focus on, but could make sense. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure if like the incentives are cross-chain at the moment for balancer. We need to verify, so we'll dive into it a little bit more before doing anything anyway. Probably do like a proposal on this front for moving liquidity or staking it where else. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, and just want to make sure that everybody understands that. Yeah, please, if you see something like this that you're like, hey, I'm curious about what this could be or what this could look like do some research, do the look into it, dive into it, see if it makes sense, crunch numbers, bring up some data and stuff like that, and put that up on Commonwealth. Really happy with like what we're seeing so far as far people commenting and bringing up ideas in Commonwealth. But I really want to drive as much traffic as possible there. It's a great platform, and we want to be able to have all of these discussions like out in the open, and rather than having just a couple people talk about it and come up with ideas, like let's post it up there and just see where this can go, because this is what governance is all about. We want to see everyone engaged and involved, and maybe a small idea might turn into something big too. So feel free to get onto Commonwealth, comment on stuff, put up proposals, like any of that stuff. I've outlined some proposal guidelines as well, and if you've got some ideas and you just like not sure how to do this, or it's your first time, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Really want to see that. So reach out to me and I'll be happy to help you with any of that stuff. But cool. Yeah, if anybody has questions, come on up or reach out. And as far as Solana, seeing some questions around that too. Primo, I don't know if you can touch on Solana or where we're at with that.
Yeah, Solana is, everything's pretty good so far. Audits are looking good. We're internally on DevNet. We'll be going live publicly on DevNet. So just to be clear, there's two stages of Solana, right? First stage is like layer 0 endpoints. Second stage is like Stargate. They both require complete rewrites of the code. So the layer 0 endpoint is in DevNet. Internally, we'll be live on DevNet shortly. And then it will be sort of so when it's live on DevNet, that'll be public for everybody to play with. Mainnet, you're talking maybe 5 weeks away, something like that, roughly. And then it's going to be a Stargate rewrite after that. And then we just need to figure out send that through the audit process. So that will be definitely longer. Any new chain with Stargate is always like, right, you're tying pools of liquidity to each other, across these chains. So everything, you just need as many audits as humanly possible. Sort of everything has to be just ultra conservative. So yeah, you're talking a little bit longer for Stargate and kind of go through that process. But I'm actually pretty optimistic. I think right now, when you're talking about actual liquid inventory, Stargate is the, or certainly one of the most liquid bridges anywhere right now. Past Wormhole, past a bunch of the others, at least last time I had checked, and there is wrapped assets anyways, not natives. So I think when we go there, I think once we do finally get there, I think we'll be really adding a huge amount of value into the Solana ecosystem, and I'm pretty optimistic about that. It's not super soon for the Stargate side, because again, it does take an entire rewrite of the protocol. And just have to, security needs to come before anything else, but it's definitely coming. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sweet. Thank you for updates on that. And yeah, good to hear that security is the key thing here, because we've seen enough problems with with security issues around bridges and exploits and things like this. So that should be paramount. Absolutely. Okay. Anything further from anyone? Any questions, comments, concerns on that? Yeah. If not, no, we can probably wrap it up here. We've got, like I say, we'll have another snapshot proposal. We'll go up here just to, with the changes around the OP token airdrop for Stargate. So just the reallocation of that. So heads up for that. Be sure to head out and vote. And yeah, we can, and then we'll just keep you posted on all that stuff, of course. But yeah.
And just to be clear, I saw somebody posting about why the OP thing changed. We didn't really touch on that, right?
Just kind of mentioned that Optimism wasn't the bonding option.
So basically, Optimism said there's a deadline for Optimism proposal. They said that if, in its current state, we would not qualify. So that was obviously not ideal. So there were just some constraints around what could be done with the proposal, and ours basically contradicted that. So they helped us adjust to a different proposal. We put up that different modified proposal, and then now it has to go back and basically pass through Stargate governance. So the options are basically, if we decline that then we likely will not get any because the deadline has passed, so we can't change it on their side. So the question is basically, just do we want an optimism airdrop or not? Is basically what it comes down to. But we went through our governance. They, we thought they had signed off at first, and then some changes happened on their end, and so it just, it's very, very similar. With just a few constraints. So yeah, that's the state of that.
All right, cool. Yeah, and of course, if anybody has questions on that, please reach out. But yeah, hopefully that covers it. So yeah, yeah, and then as I see these last questions here about creating demand here with STG token. Yeah, I know there's some discussions on the fee accrual or for VE holders, and yeah, let's those, like I say, you head over to Commonwealth, get involved in that discussion, start talking that through. But yeah, that's ultimately it's up to the community, right? Like if that's something that you guys really want, push, continue that conversation, make some noise about it. Some of the last comments there from Isabel was like more focused around protocol and liquidity. But if fees to VE holders is something that everyone else wants, please go to Commonwealth, talk about it. Let's get that out and out into the open for.
By the way, I think in the current state, somebody ran the numbers yesterday. And it was something pretty egregious. Like if the fee proposal, so once this new library gets passed, based on the current number of VE Stargate holders, assuming that the fee is going to only VE and not team investors or any of the auction people, but just VE, which I believe is what was passed. It would be something like every month, people would be getting like 20% of their, like 15 to 20% of their VE position. So if you owned $1,000 of VE Stargate, you'd be getting like $150 to $200 per month. So like 200% APY just to hold VE. Obviously, once that goes live and people, those numbers are what they are, other people are going to lock up, and then those numbers will go down. But like in the current state of things, I think there will be a pretty reasonable incentive for people to want to own VE Stargate. Yeah. And then I think from there, again, now if we're getting into the long tail assets, so again, like USDD being added and potentially a bunch of other assets being added, that's potentially a bunch more fees, but there's also like a world where there does become like your more traditional VE structure where emissions are not set by a fixed curve on the primary stable pools of USDC and USDT. But maybe like 50% are for those, and then 50% are like a gauge that people can use the VE tokens to vote for. So there's a couple different mechanisms here that I think the community can explore over time. I think the biggest thing right now is just like get as much volume as humanly possible going across the protocol, and then after that, it's very easy to kind of reassign the buckets.
Hello, Kelly.
Hey.
Yeah. Hi, Yomi Gold.
Is Kelly there?
Kelly she's in the audience.
Yomi, go ahead.
I want to ask a question, please. Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the cause of this current dip on STG?
Sorry.
What is the cause of it? The cause of it is that there are more sellers than buyers. It's just a market like anything else, right? Why did it go up to almost $5 before? Why did it go down to this? It's just a function of demand. I think the broad market has gotten pretty crushed overall, but I think ultimately, there's more people selling than there are buying, and I don't think it's anything more complicated than that. I think. Yeah.
Must be a reason for that. I think so. For them to sell instead of buying.
Well, what do you think the reason is?
All right, Yomi.
Not good enough.
That may be true, right? That's why these calls are here. That's why all these proposals are going through. I agree, right? We're getting ETH added, USDD added. You need more fees, right? Everything is a function of the value of the overall protocol or network, right? And so the value comes from volume, from protocol and liquidity. I think right now there's like more protocol and liquidity than the circulating market cap, or that was the state for a while. I think that is still the state. So, at the end of the day, it's grow that. Right now, over the last 2 months, we've made, $1 million something. So the protocol is definitely accruing some value there, but I think the goal needs to be kind of 3 to 5x that while decreasing emissions. And so again, stuff like USDD helps a ton because that's pure fees without any emission. Stuff, if they're long tail assets, if others are sort of adding here, we can make this a more long tail generalized sort of omnidirectional bridge, omni-chain bridge for every long tail asset where, they can basically put up their own assets and make their users be able to migrate anywhere. Then that's another thing that's potentially very attractive and does not cost the protocol emissions. So it's all just a bunch of math, man. You just keep making it better and build something that is genuinely super useful at both the protocol level and to the user level. So I think we built a consumer product that is pretty awesome, but the goal had always been to build something that is used by all of the protocols. So again, the SushiSwap integration, when that's live, that will be like the first big one, right? Of a pure integration with Stargate on the back end of like every multi-chain trade. And, after that, I think a couple of them have been mentioned, but I won't say who because I don't remember exactly what has been mentioned and what hasn't. But yeah, there will be a bunch of integrations, and that's where Stargate itself really thrives. And so it's just like maintaining that liquidity and making that stuff super functional.
All right, thank you very much. We trust in you guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for being here and participating, man. That's how everything gets better.
Wicked. Thank you, Yomi. All right. And speaking of the integrations there, Sushi Timeline, not 100% where they're at on their on all of this, but I think it would still be a couple weeks away yet.
Close.
I think.
They're pretty close. They're actively working on it. We're talking to them every day. So yeah, they're close. Hopefully within the next week.
Yeah. Okay. So lots of stuff happening there, but want to make sure this is all dialed in and perfect. So, and then as far as the emissions token unlocks, if you just head into the Git books, you can find it there. So reach out in Discord if you're having trouble finding that, but should be pretty straightforward. If you just head over to the FAQ channel, you'll be able to all the resources there to get you what you need. But okay, anything further from anyone? Questions, comments, concerns? But hopefully this has been a good update for everyone. And we'll move these to every 2 weeks going forward. And go from there. But okay. Thank you, Max. Thanks, Primo. Thanks, everybody, for coming on here. And like I say, questions, comments, concerns, either reach out to us, DMs in Discord, have those conversations, and get over to Commonwealth and get active and proposals or comment on stuff. That's where change happens. That's where the governance starts from. So get there, get involved. I do appreciate everybody coming out to these calls, and would love to see each and every one of you over in Commonwealth and participating there as well. So okay. We can wrap it up here, and for those looking for a POAP, just stick around, and I'll let you know when those are all ready to go. But okay, thanks everybody, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Tangle.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Tangle.
See you guys.
Yeah.